Hello guys, this is Hyperchucks from Andras the League. I have posted another video earlier on when the Rage Power came out with one of my loadouts. In this video here, I want to show you another of my loadouts that I've been using for quite some time now. It has worked for me very well. It's still range focus. Like I said before in my previous videos, I do try to stay away from bosses and mobs as much as I can, so therefore I do use my rifle and basically range attacks. I will make another video that I use when I'm soloing or for lower content that I use outrage, but in this particular loadout I just stay with range attacks. Let me show you here my loadout first. I go into powers. In the onget tree, I only have Rage Blast and Relentless Anger. What this is gonna do is gonna pretty much give you a buff, and basically it's gonna heal you back with the damage that you're doing. But the reason I use it is because it tells you right here that cost damage to enemies equal to the portion of your outgoing rage combo and weapon damage. Since I use my rifle in between my combos, that's what I use this ability in my loadout. If we go to the punishment tree, remember anger only have 2 points, straight in the middle, first and second. In the punishment tree, I go range bringer, and then I shoot to the left, go revenge, frenzy, and plasma rage. Then I move into the right side. You might have to alternate between left and right to go down the tree, but in the right side I got remorseless recovery, dreadful blast, bloodlust, and for my supercharge I use infuriated. For the iconics, I do use my robot sidekick. I always do. I know people said that they don't like it or they suck, but in my opinion it works for me. My weapons expert, this is a must. Tactical genius is a must, and then you have 2 points that you can play with. I put nanoweave armor and wisdom of Solomon, so I can have 100 extra power, and the nanoweave armor just to get that 50 defense. But in reality you can put it whatever you want. You can either go back into the punishment tree and put those 2 points, whatever you will feel like it. You can put them in the anger tree if you like. I know some people like to use eviscerated chain and berserk, so it's up to you guys, however you want to put those 2 extra points, or 3 if you don't like the robot sidekick. Okay, now let's put this together into the loadout. I put plasma rage first, which is the mic dot, dreadful blast, which is my ability that I convert into precision, my 2 buff, relentless anger, and bloodlust, which I clip both together, and my supercharge. The robot sidekick is always out. I always put it all the way to the right side because you only have to cast it once, or if he dies you cast it again. But basically this is my loadout. If you decided not to go with the robot sidekick, then you can put whatever other ability you want to put in there if you like. Like I said, I'm focusing just in this loadout at the moment, so if you have any questions about how to incorporate outrage onto this loadout, I will do that later on. I put my skill points in both, focus in 3, my critical chance, critical attack, and then I go into the precision and might. And basically you need around 146 points to actually max out your precision and might. Since I am a mix stats, let me show you here. I'm sorry for my voice. I just recovering from an injury on my back, but here I use the Vigilante's gear, which is precision focus. In my mix or mismatch gems, which are yellow and blue, I use precision and power, and the blue ones precision and health. In the I do still have one precision expert on the reds, but mainly let me show you right here. I go precision and might, precision and might, precision and might, precision and might, and all the reds. I got Vigilante utility belt, and I use my striker's talisman. For consumable, I usually put flex holder if I'm raiding. If not, I just put soda colon X. I got orbital strike, supply drop, and the plasma capsule V expert, which you can clip it so you can cause a little bit more damage. Now, how the rotation goes, I don't have a troller with me at the moment, so it's not going to be a continuous rotation. But if you have trollers in your group, it's still pretty heavy on power consumption, but it's doable if you got good trollers to supply you power. I always buff myself with Relentless, Anger, and Bloodlust, so you clip both of them just like that, and then you can actually clip those two plus your capsule, the consumable, or clip it into the orbital strike and then the buff. Now if you use Relentless, Anger, Bloodlust, and your trinket at the same time, it's going to increase your precision a little bit more. I forgot to show you the stats. My precision is 1811 and 3606 might. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna clip those two, then weapon, then use your plasma wretch. Your plasma wretch, as you see, is ticking with my damage, which is the yellow. The animation is quite long, like I mentioned in the other videos. After you use your plasma wretch, you want to jump cancel weapon. Jump cancel weapon. There we go. And you're gonna cut the animation, as you saw there. So let's add those three together, and then I move into the last part of the rotation and put them all together. So you buff yourself both weapon, plasma wretch, jump cancel weapon. If you need to see it slower than that, I can make it for you, or we can have a one-on-one in game. You can send me a message and I can show you. I know some people still have problems with clipping, and some people don't care because clipping is gonna get a little bit nerfed in the upcoming DLC. So let me go one more time to those three abilities before I go into the Dreadful Blast. Because once I go into the Dreadful Blast, you have to be speed up a little bit, because you have to come back into Plasma Rage and weapon, jump cancel weapon, Dreadful Blast. We got clip the buffs, weapon, Plasma Rage, jump cancel weapon, Dreadful Blast. Oh, I'm sorry, I used the Dreadful Blast. I'm so used to it. This rotation is gonna come to you as a muscle memory. The more that you practice, you're gonna know this thing like the back of your hand. Let me show you the animation of Dreadful Blast. You hold again. It's quite long, but you have to convert it into precision. And that softball throw at the very end, here it converts. Here's precision damage. So that's the animation that you want to cut, that softball throw at the last part. And in order to do that, I'm gonna show you a fast version real quick so you can see how he cuts. I buff myself. Right before he goes into the arms to do the softball throw, that's when you're gonna clip it with plasma rich again and rinse and repeat. So you wanna cut that the plasma rich animation and the third animation of the plasma rich. I'm sorry, for the dreadful blast, which is the softball throw. That's the two animations that you're cutting. Now, if you're fast enough, you can actually do two dreadful blasts and then go back into the plasma rage. Let me show you here. Jump cancel, plasma rage, then you clip it again with plasma rage, and then go back into plasma rage and dreadful blast. I'm sorry, it's a little confusing, but you first initiate with plasma rage, jump cancel weapon, and then do two rotations of dreadful blast. But when instead of clipping with plasma rich again, you're gonna do it twice. You're gonna go into dreadful blast again. Right before when he does the softball throw, that's when you're gonna clip it again with dreadful blast. If you're fast enough, you got like maybe 5 to 6 ticks into the plasma rich, so you gotta be quick enough to actually pull those two, and then and the second rotation of dreadful blast, you're gonna clip back into plasma rich, which is your might tick. Now, one thing that you have to remember is that the cooldowns of your buff, as soon as they pop, you need to rebuff yourself again. So it's going to be a constant of doing your rotation, and then you have to kind of change it a little bit so you can buff yourself, maybe use a consumable and trinket, supply drop, or orbital strike, and go back into the rotation. Now there's one thing as well when you're on bosses and whatnot, and is to clip your 2 buff and the supercharge, and you can do that all at once. You can clip him all at once. It's very recommended to if you have another rage and he's rocking the infuriated as well, basically alternate it just like the controllers do with their supercharge and their shield, so they don't have double stack. So it's the same thing in here. We both call it out. I say, hey, I'm pulling my infuriated first. So I pull it, and then he waits until mine's drawing down, and then he pull his. If you got a full bar, I think you can pull 3 or 4 infuriated in a fight if you got a full bar of supercharge. But mainly from this spec, like I said, I know a lot of people like to use and love to use dual wield. I find that for me, it's a lot faster using my rifle, and it has worked for me very well, and this loadout has worked for me very well. I'm always on top of the charts, which I really don't focus too much on numbers. I'd rather have a pretty flawless execution in a fight rather than numbers. But I've been in groups that are really focused on numbers, and I understand that sometimes, especially when I'm with my league, and some people want to measure how they're doing with their powers, rotation, gear, or combination of stats. And they asked me to go in DPS, for example, in Nexus, at Docs, or in AMB, and I gladly go and measure, so they can measure with my DPS how they doing. And I have fights that I have been second, third, and had no problem with that. There's a combination of a situation that happens in a raid or an operation, which you might be knocked down, you might be doing something else, arresting people, like in Docs you get put in jail and stuff like that. So there's a variation of stuff that happens in a fight. So that's why I really don't focus on on numbers. I do want to see people doing their job and doing damage, but don't have that race on in the middle of the fight, people pulling the scorecard to see if they're first or not. That I don't like. Uh, After that, yeah, and sometimes we discuss if the DPS too low or not, because we've been playing this game for quite some time, and we know what is the amount of damage that you should be in a raid. So this loadout has worked wonders for me. One thing that I have to mention before I close it out and do a full rotation here until I dry it out of power is the consumable. The consumable is just like Carving Hex. The range has reduced, so it's basically close. So mainly I use it on ads or when the boss is a little close, but not too close that I'm gonna get one shot. Like I say, I like to be at range, but sometimes bosses come and charge at you and whatnot. So that's when I'm using mainly. It inflicts plasma burn onto the enemy, and that's very good for you because then you're gonna cause more damage. But here it is. I'm gonna do a rotation, and I'm gonna use my infuriated so you can see how I clip all three of them. And once I draw down, that will be it. I don't have a troller to replenish me, but here we go. I'm sorry, this controller is a little sticky. Okay, and it's gonna happen sometimes. You're gonna get caught off. There we go. It happens the same thing when I was doing hardlight. Not all the time it's gonna be a flawless pull, and you're gonna get caught off, especially with weapons. If you have a little bit of lag as well, that don't help much. But let me do one rotation with two Dreadful Blast instead of going back into Plasma Rage. Buff. Okay, you saw that. Boom. It's too easy. So it's a rinse and repeat. You can actually put quite some damage while doing this, especially if you have a lot of ads. That's very known for a rage power that is do very well on multiple targets, and just like Celestial. So hopefully this loadout has helped you in some way, that if you have troubles with certain loadouts, or if you were trying to use Outrage, which is a cool animation, but I do hate being too close and be dying a lot in raids, you probably can use this loadout and it's gonna help you. You're gonna get buff the same way, you're gonna use the Plasma Rays the same way, and the Dreadful Blast. One thing that I forgot to mention, you can actually, if you don't want to use Relentless Anger, there's another ability here that you can use. I used this one before, and it's what they call the crazy buff, and he's using Ferocity. He's Ferocity and Bloodlust, and you're gonna get some insane precision in there. But like I say, I like this one. It has worked wonders for me, and hopefully it works for you as well. And if you have any questions about this loadout, the rotation, mods, or whatever whatever question you might have about the rage power, don't hesitate on contacting me via comments on the video, our website, or in game. You can shoot me a message, and I gladly will have a conversation with you. Hopefully this helped for you guys. Enjoy. Just get out there. GU35 is out, and go and get some of those new plasmic auras. I already have 3 of them. The red, blue, and Nimbus. Don't know if I'm gonna equip it, but hopefully you enjoy. Just get out there, do great things, and kill some mobs.